Wolf and Luke middays on the Arizona Sports app and 98.7.
This is the dawn of a new era.
Well, if I can tell you, I just walked through our newsroom, and they are all excited about our next guest. I think they've all stopped doing actual work out there. She's joining us on the Arizona Sports Line. She's an ESPN NFL analyst, senior writer, TV contributor, host of the Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny. Mina Kimes joining us. Mina, thank you for the time. How are you doing?
Oh, what a thrill to be on with the voice that brings me back to the preseason every year, that makes me feel like football is truly back. I'm just so excited to be on today.
Mina, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Honestly, it's a great honor to have you on the show right now. Are you a Cardinals fan?
I am not, but I'm actually, I went to high school in Arizona, so that might have been, if you saw anyone talking about me being from there, I went to Mesquite High School in Gilbert.
Okay.
So I do have Arizona roots, yeah. So, but did not grow up in Arizona, and unfortunately, I actually am a Seattle fan because that's where my family's from.
She threw the unfortunately in
That's
there because
all right,
she knows
though.
the audience.
I love the way Pete Carroll has his guys play. I love the way they play football.
Mina, one of the great things about you is how enthusiastic you are about football, even preseason football. And so, and I know you have to go back and forth with people on Twitter about it sometimes, but the Cardinals game on Friday night and just this team in general, I want to start with Kyler Murray. Just what are your thoughts on what you've seen from him up to this point in his career and what might need to change or stay the same for him to really get going in the future?
Yeah, one of the biggest question marks in football right now, you guys know all too well, just because the highs have been so high. I mean, we're really not that removed from Kyler being like a legitimate MVP candidate. And then the lows, I mean, including the beginning of last year before he got hurt, although he was banged up for some of that as well, have been pretty low as well. And I think with Kyler coming back this year, whenever he does, in a pretty dicey situation with a new coaching staff and his future very much in doubt, I think it's going to be really important for shaping the rest of his career and kind of setting a baseline, showing, okay, new system, adversity, I'm still that guy. Even if Arizona does get the number one pick and they want to take Caleb Williams, they're going to try to trade me and eat all the dead money. He needs to come back and show, I think, both leadership, frankly, off the field, in terms of navigating that, but also on the field, you want to see some consistency in his play. You want to see the mobility back. You want to see the deep ball back, which was a huge problem at the end of last season. And I actually believe he is capable of all those things. You just got to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Mina. I think that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to embrace what it is that he must in order to evolve his game, and I think he's going to do it. I'm not going to bet against that kid. I'm not. I think he's going to do it. Having said all of this right now, did you happen to watch? How much of the game did you watch on Friday night? You watched a lot. Okay, great. What were your takeaways from preseason game number one?
Yeah, so, the Cardinals this season is not about winning. Sorry, I think Cardinals fans know that. It's about young talent, young guys kind of establishing the core of the roster. And I thought there was some really encouraging performances. A couple things that stood out. This is, of course, I've been joking about how probably 99% of the football watching public will not know the identities of some of the guys on the offensive and defensive lines. But some of those guys, I thought, played pretty well. The center, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce because I know I'll screw it up, I thought he was pretty good, man.
Yelda Froholt.
And then he caked a dude. And then defensively, something that really jumped out to me was Zaven Collins with the move to edge. I thought, the size and the speed we know he has, but I thought his instincts looked pretty good. And if that experiment works out early on, I think that would be really, really good for Arizona.
We're talking to Mina Kimes. Mina, I think you just said what a lot of Cardinals fans are thinking about this season. But in your experience covering this league, when you have a new coaching staff and a new front office, new general manager, and a lot of new players, what are one or two things that we should be looking for as good signs this season that they need to really be kind of focused on?
Yeah, I think, one thing I'll be curious that we talked about Kyler returning. I would be curious to see, okay, we know it's going to be a new offense, obviously, with Drew Petzing, so more of the kind of a Shanahan-y type wide zone under center, all of that. So I want to see how Kyler looks in that when he does come back. But I also want to see how does this offense jive with the players on the roster. Invested a lot of draft capital into Paris Johnson. I thought the Cardinals had a spectacular draft, by the way, which was not, something that people enjoyed hearing about, but it was just, when you make a trade like that, I thought they won, frankly. So you want to see him kind of play well and show that he was worth trading up for, that he can be, a key player for this organization for a while. You'd like to see Collins and Simmons, I think, be comfortable and feel like they're in the right positions for them, and so that you feel good maybe moving forward with at least one of them, frankly, as a core guy. And then just kind of around the roster, you want to just have one or two guys from the last couple drafts just emerge, again, as players that you feel good about. A guy like Michael Wilson out of Stanford, who's a player I thought was really, really promising. If he looks like he could be, I don't know, a reliable number two in this offense, that's what success looks like to me.
Mina, how much better is it today to be a female in football from when you first got into the business?
Well, it's just a little bit more normal. It was, I think, it's still not that common, but I just love the opportunity to just kind of come on ESPN every day and just talk X's and O's like we are right now. It's I get to work with the best guys on TV, and they have been so welcoming and wonderful, and I don't take it for granted.
Talking to Mina Kimes. Mina, somebody asked me over the weekend what my Super Bowl pick was, and I realized I don't have one. And I'm not asking you to make one, but who are one or two teams, and you can't say the Chiefs, one or two teams that you're keeping an eye on this year?
Okay, so outside of the obvious favorites, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm doing my rankings, and I was actually just looking at schedules. I really like the Ravens this year. I know there's a lot of change on that offense. I think that defense is playing lights out at the end of last season, and I think it's an offense that might not look its best, with obviously the transition with Todd Monken, all the receivers, and just schematically it's going to be a wild transition. But I think at the end of the season, they're going to be playing really good football, assuming Lamar Jackson is healthy, and I'm really excited for them. So that's kind of a semi-sleeper pick in the AFC. And in the NFC, I think the Cowboys roster is fantastic. I think that's the best defense in the NFL, personally, and I even include San Francisco. So, as long as Mike McCarthy can hold it down on offense and Dak can cut down on the turnovers, I think they're going to be really hard to beat.
So, Mina, how many preseason games do you actually watch? Because it seems like you're commenting on all of them.
No, I don't watch all of them. I watch parts of all of them. We really obviously focus on when we get to see the starters and especially the rookie quarterbacks this year. But I'm not kidding. I only watched that game because of you. I was like, oh, man, I'm dialed in. I got so amped when I heard Ron's voice. There was zero reason for me to keep watching that game. But I was just like, this is such a great call. I was rooting for guys to get hit because your reactions are so good to big hits and tackles. I was like, hit him. Just fun to hear Wolf's reaction.
Yeah, what's so funny about that is everyone thinks I'm way over the top. I should be offended by this. I really should because
it's preseason football.
I know.
What do they want? A boring – come on.
I just love the game of football. It speaks to me. It really does, especially the physicality of it all. I just love it. So, anyways, Mina,
clear.
Thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Okay.
You too. That's Mina Kimes joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line. Great to talk to Mina. And it's always a great follow on Twitter too. She's arguing with the people that are telling her that preseason football means nothing. It's pretty good.